Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. It is I guess Tuesday after Thanksgiving 2021, and I'm back. I meant to record this video yesterday, however I had a massive system go down. 17 servers essentially bit the dust, so I had to work on that yesterday, and it took me into this morning to get it all done. So now I'm getting going. It's officially after 11 a.m. and I have a little bit of time here. So here's what we're going to do. This video is essentially piggybacking off of the last video that I did, which was the introduction of this little third display that I made for, the gauges and stuff like that for the Bolt EV. Now, for those who know me, you'll know that I'm driven by data. I'm a nerd when it comes to stats and dashboards and stuff like that. I love building that stuff. The at-a-glance stuff that you can see on a giant screen. Those charts and colors and stuff like that, they allow me to process states of a system in a much faster fashion. If I see yellow anywhere, okay, that needs my attention. If I see red, everything stops. Green, I don't worry about it. Stuff like that to me it allows me to manage thousands of systems, servers, computers, appliances, whatever, without the need to actually inspect every single device. So it kind of works out. And that translates to the Bolt EV as well. There's so many things that this car has inside of it, tech-wise, battery-wise, sensors, probes, all sorts of things that allow it to do what it does. But yet there is no graphical front end that allows us as the owners to, see what's there. I mean, outside of tire pressure and whatever else is built into this, what if I want to see the temperatures of all 96 cells? Can't do that, not without something like this. So the shopping list for this is quite small. Torq Pro is the app. I think it's a $5 or so Google Play purchase. It's only available for Android, so you won't find it on iOS, which is a bummer because you guys know I'm an iOS guy, and I'd be much happier with an iPad here than an Android device. But because it's only doing this and it has no other purpose, it doesn't bother me. That's pretty much it, except you need also an OBD2 diagnostic port reader. This one that I have here, and I'll show you guys these parts a little bit easier because it's still plugged in. It's actually turned on. My car's still on. This reader allows it allows this app to interface with the onboard computers, and it allows it to pull all the data. So you need that. That's your interface. You need a tablet or a phone, and then the configuration. So it's not hard to do. I'll give you guys that. However, it takes time because this app is all about customization, and it doesn't really incorporate, bulk edits very well. When it comes to arrangements and stuff like that, renaming stuff, you have to do it step by step. So, to rename something is like 3 or 4, taps, drags, holds, whatever. It just takes time. But all in all, this process for me from start to finish took about 3 hours. And that was with a lot of trying to figure stuff out. Now, I previously had that reader that's plugged into the OBD2 port down there, by your left leg, by the hood release, essentially. You have to get some that the software supports and that work relatively well. I don't have any gripes with this setup. The only thing is it's not perfect real time. It is delayed. Like, it takes 1 to 2 seconds for the values to update. So here, let me flip this around and hopefully you can see this. It is very bright out here. So I'm actually going to show you guys this process up in my office, where I can control the lights a little bit better, the reflections and stuff like that. But I'm going to flip you around. So I don't know if you can see that, but you know, focus on this accelerator part right here. You know, if I step on the accelerator, you know, I'm all the way down, and it takes, you know, a few seconds. So down, let go, down, up. So as you can see, can't really use this as like a real-time performance indicator, but if you're cruising and you have cruise control set or whatnot, this will do a great job at showing you pretty much all the temperatures, the climate control consumptions when it comes to watts for the compressor, cabin heat, or AC, as well as, you know, the AC and DC current in, charging capacity, amps, stuff like that. My favorite is temperatures, you know, being that, you know, lithium ion batteries are very sensitive to their, you know, their operating temperature. It's nice to know, you know, what the, you know, everything from motor temp, transmission temp, electronics temp, ambient air, max battery temp, minimum battery temp. So during the night, it was 48 degrees here, and my battery got down to 68 degrees. And right now, the battery's at 71.6 degrees, ambient air is 86 degrees. And the radiator is operating at 11.4% duty cycle. So lots of nerdy data. It's one of my favorite things about this interface, is just seeing all of it in one spot. You know, I can have this mounted. I've actually driven with this mounted right there, you know. And as you can see from my point of view, I have you guys up by my eyes right now. I have unobstructed view. This is low. And this can also be adjusted up and down. I have it set so I can see the entire screen down here. You know, all of this I can see, and then all of that I can see as well. So without further ado, I'm going to take you guys upstairs. I'm going to set up for you know, shooting the screen and showing you guys how to do this. Not much else left to do here, so let's shut this car down and go upstairs. I'm going to use one of my old Android phones that I have from, I guess a long time ago. Somebody asked me to transfer their data from that Android phone to an iOS device. I kept the Android phone, and which is great, because now I can actually show you guys how to do this. And I'll bring it out here and we'll connect it to this reader. So since I am shutting down, I'll show you guys this reader first. So these things are relatively simple. This is an LE Link OBD2, and then I'll put a link down there. It's actually written on here. It's kind of neat because it's transparent. You can actually see all the guts of it. Really cool. The one thing that's kind of concerning when it comes to these things is how much energy does this consume while it's plugged in, the car's turned off. Overnight, your battery won't even know that it was plugged in, even though this stays on all the time. There's always power going to the port down there. So with this plugged in, it'll always stay on. There's a red light that indicates that it's got that it's energized, but it doesn't really you know, it doesn't really make a difference with regards to consumption. It's such low power consumption that you could probably leave this in for months and your car will still start. That said, I'll put links to all this stuff down below. I'll go back to Amazon and I'll try to get some affiliate links for you guys. So as always, those links help us out. And we'll see. So there's this. There's that tablet, you know. these all were purchased on Amazon a while ago. This was purchased years ago. I used to use this in my ICE cars to monitor fuel efficiency. So fortunately, the app supported this, and it works great. The Torq Pro app, I think, is $5 on Google Play or somewhere around there. I don't remember exactly how much it was. Once you buy an app, you don't really know what the price is, because it tells you that, you know, you already own it, so it won't show you the price again. But this is really all you need: some kind of an Android device, a reader like this that you can plug into your car, and then the app, and that's essentially it. So let's go upstairs, and I'll show you guys how to work with this, and then we'll come back out, and once we have the device configured, the device configured, we'll install the software, and then we'll come out and pair it to this. This way I can get it to, you know, a similar point as this, and then we can just go on and do the demo. So without further ado, I'm gonna plug this back in so I don't lose it. Okay, red light's on. All right, let's go upstairs. All right, so we're up in the office, and I brought the actual tablet that I use in the car with me, just to show you guys a clearer picture. I know there's still a reflection, so forgive me for that. This is a high gloss screen. If you can get a tablet that has a matte screen, that'd be best. But you can see that it actually keeps the last values, so you can tell, you know, what your state of charge was, and temperatures, and, you know, all that stuff. So whatever the last frame of data was, it'll actually keep it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this Samsung phone. That's a retired phone. It's super old. I migrated this user from this phone to an iOS device, and I decided to keep this. They didn't want it, so I kept it. And fortunately for us, we get to use it today. So power it on, make sure your device is up to date. Now, just a word of note, this app requires Android. Torq Pro is an Android-only app. It is not available for iOS. There are other apps for iOS. Engine Link is one of them. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend the version that was out a year or two ago. Since I went to Torq Pro and I bought it, I haven't really looked at the iOS stuff anymore. So first things first, you're going to go into the Google Play Store, and you're going to download Torq Pro, okay? So I'm going to actually kind of walk you guys through this. So search. Let's see if we can click in there. Torq Pro. That's what it looks like. Now, yours is going to say, where it says open, yours is going to say buy, and I think it's going to be like $5, plus minus. Once it's downloaded, you can hit open, and this is what the main page of the app looks like. You know, not much of a welcome screen, but it's kind of cool because it actually has an accelerometer on there. So if you wiggle your phone around, it'll actually register on the accelerometer. Anyway, I digress. So one of the things that you got to know about this app is that it was originally designed for ICE cars, for ICE engines. That means that you're going to have a lot of information when it comes to, you know, fuel air, mixture status, NOx sensors, all that stuff is on there, as well as boost controller data, like if you know what your boost is at. So yeah, doesn't really help us in the EV world much. So what you need is you need a PID file, which is essentially a diagnostic file that allows you to read out of the modules in a car. So, and before you actually get into this, just exit out, open up a browser, and go to a website called allev.info/boltpids. So that's what it looks like. I don't know if you can read that or not, but try to focus on that. Maybe. All this stuff's going to be down below. So allev.info, and then this will take you to the Chevy Bolt OBD2 PIDs project. So OBD2 PIDs are onboard diagnostic parameter IDs. So where low-level data can be pulled out of the car, essentially. What you do is you can scroll down. There are instructions here, so you can read all the directions and all the stuff. We're doing it for Torq Pro, and you can see that OBD Fusion and Engine Link are listed here for iOS. So if you really want to give those a shot, there's your instruction set for that. I've used Engine Link, and the only thing I did not like about it, functionality-wise, it's similar, but the user interface is a little bit kludgy, and the editing of the actual gauges themselves is very difficult to do. So I abandoned that. Once I went to Torq Pro, I left the iOS side behind. So if anybody has any experience within the last few years with Engine Link or OBD Fusion, go down in the comments, let us know, because it'll be nice to know if those apps actually caught up with Torq Pro in any way. But for this purpose, we're going to talk about Torq Pro. So essentially, right here, you'll see under directions, you'll see the CSV download, okay? And you'll go to it, and you'll click the download CSV of PIDs. And it'll open up a Google Doc. Oh, that's because I already have it downloaded. It was telling me that, hey, do you want to open it again? But probably not. I probably don't need to download it again. But essentially, put it someplace where you can manage it. Now, also, one of the things that I want to tell you about is, this is what the file looks like, by the way. And then please go here for PIDs. There's a breakdown for it. And then, you know, it's all there. So PIDs, yeah. So it'll actually open up the, I thought it was gonna open up the PIDs, but maybe not. Oh, click on PIDs up here. Yeah, so there are all your PIDs. They literally are like in a spreadsheet form. This is a comma separated value sheet, so you can see all the PIDs, the values, the labels, and this is what you're going to use ultimately to create this. Okay, so one of the things that we have to do first, though, is we have to go back to the Google Play Store and search for Astro, and it's the Astro file manager. So it's that. And the reason for it is because we need to manage the, this one. We need to manage that file that we downloaded, the CSV. Otherwise, you won't be able to import the CSV into Torq Pro. So let's see what we got here. So we gotta go through all the default stuff. Okay, we want to give you permission. Why not? Usage tracking's fine. Aha, here we go. Allow Astro File Manager to access photos, media, and files on your device. Allow. Okay, so, and this is the part that probably took me the longest time to figure out. I had to actually manage this file. This is the downloaded CSV file that we pulled from that site. And essentially what we want to do is we want to click the share to on here, and we want to open it with Torq, so you can see that Torq is listed there. Let me back up and try and do this again a little bit better. So you're going to navigate to the location where the file was downloaded to. So in my case, it defaults to download on the device, and you can see that right here is that file. It's called Chevrolet Bolt OBD2 PIDs CSV. Okay. Now essentially what you're going to do is you're going to click on the little menu over here at the end of the file, and you're going to hit the share button, which is this guy in the middle. And then here it's going to ask you what you want to open it with. Okay, so we're going to click on Torq. Look what we got. We just imported all of those PIDs right into Torq Pro. So it went and took all those values on that spreadsheet, and it converted them into something that now the app can use. Okay. Now once this is put in, we're done with it. We're essentially going back to the main page now, and we'll do real-time information. You know, it'll tell you that there's nothing connected up here, but that's fine because the reader is in the car, and I'm not connecting this to that reader until we take it outside. So, but here's essentially where, you know, if you look closely, it's the same backdrop, right? That little gray planet type looking thing. And now essentially what we can do is you can figure out your orientation, which will probably be, you know, this way. You can use it this way too, it doesn't matter. I've always preferred, you know, landscape, you know, formats. So you press and hold. Okay, it'll show you the add display, right? And then you click on add display, and then you get all of your options here, whichever one you want to use. So as you can see, most of these cases I have digital gauges, some graphs, charts, but most of them are temperatures, so I have just the digital readouts. Word of caution, when you're going through this, in fact, I'll show you this here. Yeah, so let me take a step back. So these are tiny, okay? These are large. These are mediums, okay? So you can tell by the size. You pick your sizes of gauges. Large, medium, medium, small, tiny. Yeah, that's correct. It took me a while to get my head wrapped around this too, because I was making gauges that were half the size of the screen. It doesn't really clearly tell you what's what. So medium, small, tiny. Now with that in mind, back at this list, we're going to hit on digital display just for a sample. And I'm going to only set up one of these because you can really get lost in how far you go with this. So let's say that we want, actually I guess it doesn't matter which one we pick, but you can see that now we have a drop down of all of our PIDs. So we can go battery pack, state of charge. Now this is the part I was talking about, you know, tiny, small, medium, large, larger, and extra large. You can make gauges that are the size of the whole screen. So we're just gonna do tiny, and you can see that it gives you a nice little grid, and you can arrange this however you want, like, you know, up there. And then when you move it, you let go, it's there. Now if you long press on it, it'll give you options. So you can you can move the display. So say if you want to move it over here, you can move it over there. And then again, you have to long press display configuration. You can change titles, change the display type. So if you created this digital gauge and after some time you want to make it a needle, you can. You don't have to delete it and start over. So display configuration, change display type, you can do bar display. Okay. And then of course you can also change the size. So let's say you want to make it medium, you know. So once you have your layouts done, you can pretty much configure all of this to whatever you want. You can also change title. So if you want this to be, you know, whatever, you can relabel it. Okay. And then you just repeat. So for however many you want, let's see, how about battery cell ambient voltage, you know, and then you can obviously move that to where you want, click, display configuration, change type. I really wanted that as a digital display. All right, so you can see how doing it this way, you can end up with something like this, okay? Now, let's dive into this a little bit further. So if you put something in that you want to get rid of, you click on it, you scroll all the way down to delete display, okay? Scroll all the way down, delete display, and then it'll clear it out. Let's go through what is available. Okay, I'm gonna spin behind the camera a little bit so you can see, hopefully not much reflection, but you can see air temps, ambience, battery cell, average voltage, coolant pump speed for the battery, coolant temp, temp Fahrenheit, battery heater measured in watts, battery module temps, average temperatures, capacity for the battery pack for 2017 through 18, and then you have it for 19 plus. So depending on your vehicle year, you know, you'll have to pick the right one. Current HD resistance, state of charge displayed, raw, state of charge variation, brake motor temps, brake torques, you know, etc., etc. Now, it takes you down to this green little box here. When you have this connected to the reader, you know, to the OBD2 reader, you'll actually see available modules turn green with the actual value that's red in blue underneath the title. And what's great about that is in real time you can go down this list and you can pick and choose what you want based on what the data is that's being displayed. So because I'm not connected to my reader, it's not going to do us any good here, but you can see how some of these are showing up green, and that's a bug because it's not reading any values from my car, obviously, but the latest value would be 0 kilowatts or whatever that breakdown is. That's for instant power. So when you instant K power is actually one that I have on mine. It's down here in the corner, and this is what this translates to. If you're looking at the gauge behind your steering wheel, that little power indicator that's on the right side, in the middle of that is a number. That number matches up to that field. So it's kind of nice. And as such, it's right there. You can pick and choose it. A lot of this is trial and error. What's right for me might not be right for you. So it's just a matter of going through and picking ones that you want. And the advice definitely would be to do this in your car while the car's powered on with the reader attached. So that way you can actually see the values, and they'll be updating in real time here. Well, real time, let me back that up. It's not going to be real time. It's going to be like 1 to 2 seconds, just like it did when I had it plugged in. So there's no real time. It's not like, it'll actually go as you do whatever action you do. But you can see transmission fluid temps, RPMs, air temps, filtered, torques, 5-volt reference. So if you want to see also minimum voltages, maximum voltages, averages, battery heaters, module temps. And actually we're getting down to a cool part of this. And this is what, actually I'm going to make a second page on that. Oh yeah, by the way, this is just one page. You can scroll down and create a whole nother one. And I think there's like 7 pages. So you can go through and customize this however you want. And the part that I'm going to do on the next page are cell voltages. So all 96 cells are in here. And when the car's on, you'll actually see each cell's voltage underneath it. But you can see that, oops, it goes all the way down to cell 96. I'm not sure if that's in focus, but that's 96. So I think that's pretty much it. You can scroll through these for a while and pick and choose which one you want. But essentially, I'm just gonna pick one. So we're gonna do a medium battery coolant, and this is in Celsius. You can change to Fahrenheit if you go under settings. I messed that up because I moved it while it was move display. Okay, move it there. And then let's change the settings, if it'll let me. Will it? Yee. Oh, it's upside down. There it is. So, no, it's not. Oh, I remember. You have to back out to the main screen and go here, settings. I think it's under general preferences. And of course it's not under general preferences. Why would it be under general preferences? It'd be under units. Use miles, use Celsius, feet, kilograms, PSI, There you go. So you can change and go back under real time. I think I picked the Celsius readout, so let's change display type. Nope, sorry, back. Let's do display configuration. I'm so lost right now, it's not even funny. Delete display, let's just start over. Add display. Oh yeah. So I had the Celsius one picked, so you can see the one below it has F for Fahrenheit. So click, medium, and now you're gonna have your degrees. Move. There you go. And you can keep adding these until you fill up the screen, essentially getting to a point where it looks like this. Now another point that you can do is you can you can press on one of these, and I'll show you on this tablet here. You can change, you can do display configuration and then number of decimal places. So you can use either display default or you can specify your own number of decimal places. I think to the hundredths is a good spot. Gives you a little bit more granular detail. But some, like the temperatures, you can do to the tenths because it just eats up a lot of space. So like that. And then for everything else, 2 decimal spaces. But it's really up to you. So that's it. If you're still with me and you know you've gotten to at least this point, that point, then congratulations, you've set up your first gauge in Torq Pro. And you can keep going. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff. There's tons, hundreds of them that you can literally scroll through and pick and choose. Some of them don't work right. There are some bugs out there, and you can go back to that website and it'll actually tell you which ones are either wrong or not working correctly, or something changed between models of cars, how things are reported through the diagnostics. And as such, you know, engine RPM is always going to start at 10,000, which is wrong. So it is what it is. But as these software and as these softwares get updates, things kind of get fixed, other things break. It is what it is. But it works for what it needs to do. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to include some links down below. As always, go down in the comment section. You know, I'm always up for feedback, so go ahead and leave it down there. Start a conversation. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you know where to find me. And I guess until next time, thank you for watching.